let's get started on putting together our book. So we are going to start with 2 pieces of chipboard that are 5.5 inches by 7 inches. So you want 2 of those. That's the front and the back cover. Then you're going to want a spine that is 2 inches by 7 inches. And then to wrap the chipboard, I am using the lay flat method that most of us at Country Craft Creations use, the lay flat method. You can wrap your chipboard however, whatever works for you. You could paint the edges and you don't have to wrap it. You could do whatever you like to do. You just need your base book to be 5.5 inches by 7 inches. So you can see I already wrapped the first, I think you could see it. I already wrapped the first one. I am using craft color cardstock, and it's hard to actually see it because the chipboard is more a bit of a craft color too. So it's like a grayish craftish color. So to wrap the to wrap the chipboard, you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock, whatever color you choose, whatever paper collection you choose. A good rule of thumb, if you're going to use the lay flat method, is to have 1 extra inch around all 4 edges. So if this is 5.5 by 7, you're going to want your paper to be 7.5 by 9. Okay. And then I have these spacers that I know Tammy sells them in her shop, but I don't know if they are currently in stock. You'll have to go online to www.countrycraftcreations and see if she has them in stock. I should have checked before I started. I'm sorry. Now, if you have the full page score tape sheets, the 8.5 by 11 sheets, you're very lucky. I ran out. So I am just going to go ahead and use my art glitter glue that has this precision tip on it. Love the tip. I know Tammy has those in her shop as well. I know that looks like a ton of glue, but it's really not. You can actually hear me scraping the chipboard. So I just want to make sure I get good coverage. So I'm going to lay my 1-inch spacers, one across on the left-hand margin, one across the top. And then I just take my piece of chipboard and butt it right up against both of those spacers. And I have an instant inch around the edge. And then I'm just going to turn it over and burnish it. Okay. And then while that dries for a second, I'm going to move on to the spine. So my spine piece is 5 inches by 9 inches. And the reason is for that, so that when we wrap it, we want on the right and the left side, we want an extra 1.5 inches to be able to wrap it, and then 1 inch at the top and bottom. So we're going to do the same thing. And if you don't have the spacers, you could cut a piece of scrap chipboard down to 1.5 by 12 or 1 by 12. That's what we used to use before we actually got these spacers. So they just actually look prettier. And then they won't come with, they won't come decorated. I think they're all still the same color, like the orange and the green. I think. I haven't seen anything different, but they won't come with the vinyl on it. A friend of mine actually created those for me. So I'm gonna stick it down. See, 1.5 on the right, left, 1.5 on the right. So we're done with these for now, so those can be set aside. And I am just going to burnish, burnish, burnish. Okay, so let's go back to this first one. So what we want to do, what is that? Got a little straggler there. We're going to want to fold over, use your table, desk, your table, whatever, and fold over the cardstock. So what it's doing is it's essentially just scoring for you. When you fold over like that, so there's your bottom of your chipboard. Just use your desk and roll it over. Sorry about that. And then we're going to do all four sides. Give it a good varnish. Okay, so then you have something like that. Then I like to use these cutter bee scissors. So you see here where your fold lines intersect right here in the corner. We're just going to cut right inside that score line, right up to the edge of the chipboard. I'm going to do it on both sides, on both the left and the right. You don't want to cut into the chipboard, just right before it. Then you're going to come over here and just miter or just cut an angle. Okay? And then what that's doing is when you fold this over, there's quite a bit of bulk in there that gets in the way and it just looks ugly. But if you cut it out, it looks much nicer, much more professional. So we're going to go to the other side, do the same thing. There are tools out there you can purchase. I have this one. It's called the Right Angle, created by Darlene Brule. I don't know who that is, but my friend gave this to me, and you can actually just line it up and chop it right off if you want to do it that way. There are several things on the market that can help you with that. I find it easy to just do it old school. So we're going to go ahead. Well, actually, what I want to do is fold these flaps in and just make sure I don't have any paper hanging over the edge. So kind of looks like it, but it's really not hanging over there. And then I like to do the same thing here. Now this one does have a little smidge too much. Okay. Then I'm going to take my glue, put a bead of glue right up against that chipboard. Just helps to keep it from buckling or warping, or I don't know what the word is. But then I just smooth that down. Always have a dry cloth ready. You don't want to use a wet, some people use wet paper towels, some people use baby wipes. If the baby wipe is dry, that's great, but if it's wet, it could warp your paper. So just be aware of that. So I'm taking my glue, and here you could use score tape here also. But, you know, wet glue works fine. Then I like to smush the edges. Okay, and then let's just go ahead and repeat that 2 more times. Just give it a second to grab a hold. Okay, and last one. Our glitter glue dries quickly, doesn't warp the paper. Love it. Okay, so as you can see, I got a little one sticking out. Can you see that there? So I will just grab my trusty scissors, trim that off. So as you can see, none of the chipboard underneath is showing through. Looks good. So now there's our front cover and our back cover. Okay, those are good. So now we're going to take the spine piece and we're going to do the exact same thing. Well, almost the exact same thing. We're going to fold using our table. We're going to fold all the edges along the edges of the chipboard. Okay. And give them a good burnish. We're going to do the same thing, and that we're going to cut right up that score line, right up to the edge of the chipboard, excuse me. And we're going to miter that edge. It doesn't have to be a severe angle. You can see I just took a little bit off. Oops. Do the same over here. Some people also like to cut the square out altogether. You can do that too. Just depends on, you know, it'll just look a little different when it's folded over. But it all works. It all covers the chipboard, which is our ultimate goal. So, I'm going to fold these two edges in, fold this over. See, now I have quite a bit of overhang on that one. Sorry, you can see the glare from my light. Okay, cut that one off. And a little bit of overhang on this one. Okay. You wouldn't think that little bit would cause a problem, but it causes a big issue. Uh-oh. So I have this new scoreboard, this Caterpillar crease scoreboard. A lot of people ask me, do you like it? You know, I don't know, I'm getting used to it. I still have my Scor Pal. I don't know. Jory's still out on it. I feel like, see, there's like play in it, where my other one didn't have that. But, you know, I do like it. I did get the light pad that goes underneath it. And my craft room here, I have a 72-inch long desk, so it's really long. And the two windows are on either side of the desk, at the end of each side of the desk. So there's a lot of light in here, but I feel like it doesn't shine on my desk. But anyway, so I bought the bright pad, and it's pretty incredible in the evening. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to flip this over so that the chipboard, the inside of the chipboard is down. I lost my score tape. Oh, there it is. I like to do score tape on this. You can absolutely do wet glue. Actually, to be honest, I like to do both score tape and wet glue, because the wet glue gives me a couple of minutes to wiggle it around. Not minutes, but a couple seconds to wiggle it around, because it's inevitable that I don't place it down straight. So we are going to just add a few strips of score tape. I like to use the 3/8 inch because, you know, most tabs, I've been making mini albums for many, many moons. My gosh, it's like, I think I started in 2007, but, you know, ever since then, everybody's tabs, everybody that makes tabs, they're always a 1/2 inch, so it's great to have that 3/8 inch score tape, because you just need one piece of score tape on one tab. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to take one of our covers, doesn't matter, front or back. Let's scooch this. Okay, so with the score tape side, the side with the score tape facing up, I'm going to add a little bit of wet glue. Not too much, just a little bit. And then I want to line this up. And I don't want to get too close to my score line. So I like to lift this up. Just so I know that I have enough room for a gusset, which looks like I'm okay. So I'm going to give this a good burnish. Everything holds, everything sticks. Okay, so let's do the same thing on this side. Okay. Now, I like to find my first piece of score tape before the edge of the chipboard and just put a little bit of glue there so I have an idea of how far I can go. Gonna lay this back down again. Whoops. Okay. So I'm using my scoreboard to line everything up. And I know I've got, I hope you can see that little extra space right there. There we go. Okay. So that is the beginnings of our book. You can see when I push down on the spine, the sides come up, so I know I did something right. Okay, so now, where did it go? So now I have a piece of cardstock. I like to cover the spine with a piece of my solid color cardstock. Actually just gives, because right now, see how it's kind of wonky, right? So to give it some stability, I want to put a piece of cardstock that spans the spine plus an extra inch. So my spine, extra inch on both sides. So my spine is 2 inches wide and 7 inches tall. So I cut a piece of cardstock that is 4 3/4. I actually didn't need to do quite that wide. I like to just have 1 extra inch. So I would go, well, like 4.5, just in case, by 6 7/8. And then I am going to just cover this, not cover it, but I'm going to line it on the edges with some score tape so I get a good stick. I wish you guys could be here with me, you know, while we're crafting, because I always want to say, well, how do you guys do it? And I do it this way, and what do you think of that? But there's nobody here but me. Okay, and then I like to put a few pieces right here on the spine. I like to keep like 1/8 of an inch or so down from the edge, just so that the score tape doesn't stick out from the edge of the cardstock. Okay. And one more. Whoops. Excuse me. Okay. Let's just burnish that down a little bit. So I'm going to pull up the backer. Okay. And then same on this. All right. Now I like to line it up. So then what I want to do is, doesn't matter if the paper is crooked, because it's not going to be seen, it's going to get covered up anyway. So yeah, so there, so see how it actually gave a lot of stability, see? So now what we want to do, I am going to take a blunt nose bone folder. I bought this bone folder probably, I don't know, I got it from bonefolder.com probably 10 years ago. This thing, I love it, absolutely love it. So, but what I want to do is come in here and just kind of just define the gusset. I think I did a pretty good job. It might be a little too close there. Okay, and then on the inside, so I just like to lift up slowly here, because every paper is a bit different. And you have to make sure you use a blunt nose. You could use a pen cap. Don't use anything that's too pointy, because it will tear right through your paper. And then just going through, we're going to do the same thing over here. Lift up so that now you can see where the edge of your spine chipboard is. And just give it a good, make it, define it. And what it's doing is it's helping that chipboard, that cardstock, it's helping secure it to the layer underneath it. Now this one, I might want to put some more glue on, and hold it down. But you can see it actually looks pretty good. Once that glue dries, it'll be, I guess I just didn't squish it together good enough. There we go. Okay, so there's our book. Done. Well, not done. Ready to go. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is our hinges. So I didn't even say this, we are making this book. The pages are made out of brown paper lunch bags. So the size of these are 5 1/8 by 10 5/8 tall. And I put it in my paper trimmer and I cut them down to 6 inches. What I like to do while before they're put in the book, I like to open up, so this is the bottom of the bag. Open that up and just kind of flatten everything out, because these were not, folded quite so nicely. And then what I like to do is, again, fold down that bottom flap, put a little skinny bead of glue on either side, and fold it right back up, and we're creating a pocket. So I let that dry, and then it creates a little pocket in there, which is a lot of fun. Okay, so we're going to do that 2 more times. Fold this down. When you do this, it kind of just squares it up. Because a lot of times, the bags are all wonky on the bottom. And they're not going to be perfect. They are made by a machine, so they're not going to be perfect. But they're pretty close. Okay, so then the next one, just fold that down. A little bit of glue. Alright, so we can set those aside to dry, and then we're going to pull out our hinge piece. And if I neglected to say this already, I'm sorry. All the dimensions, measurements, everything the instructions, they're all in the description box below. So you don't have to worry about writing this all down. I always provide a cutting guide, and I always advise that you watch through the whole video first, because I do make mistakes and I don't always go back and edit. So anyway, so for your spine, and we have 3 pages, so we want to cut this down to 4 inches by 6, because our bags are 6 inches tall. And then with the 4-inch side across the top, we're going to score it at 1/2 of an inch all the way across. So you're 1/2 1, 1.5 2, 2.5 3, and 3.5. Okay, so that's going to become our hinge. And I do a clean, I don't know what it's called, but I do what I call a clean edge hinge. So I have 3 pages, so I'll have 3 hinges. Some people actually have an extra piece that, folds on the inside of the book. I don't think that's necessary. I like it nice and clean because I already put, for instance, some people like to cover this entire section and then have an extra flap. I already did the flap, so I don't see the need for it. Anyway, so, and then what you're going to do, so we have 3 flaps, 2 gussets. So we're going to do a mountain fold, and then have a gusset. Then do another mountain fold, and a gusset, and another mountain fold. So you have 3 mountain folds, 2 gussets. The gussets will have score tape on the back or glue. I like to use score tape because I don't like to wait for it to dry. So I use score tape, and then you can use glue to create your hinge, but just to save time, I'm using score tape. So there's my first hinge. And you're going to want to make sure you burnish it really well. So there's the first hinge. Okay. And you can put glue or, again, score tape to create your second hinge. And I like to fold it both directions a couple of times. Create that second hinge. Then the third hinge. I hope that was clear. I think it made sense. There are many other designers on the design team that have tutorials. I have many other tutorials on how to do a hinge. This is, to be honest, not my favorite type of a hinge. But, it's what the people want. Alright, so next what we're going to do is we're going to take our brown paper bags. So the way that I have, you can put these in whatever order you want. But the way I've been doing, I did mine, is I did the flat, so this is the flat side, right? No pocket. This is the pocket side. Right? Pretty self-explanatory. And the open edge is at the top. So what we're going to do, we are going to take our hinge system thing, and we are going to put it in this gusset. Right? So there's a gusset on each side. So, but when we do that, you can see when we slide that in there, it only goes so far because it stops right there. So what we need to do, and I'm going to start with this first one, is cut an angle on the bottom. See that? So that we can take the gusset, the hinge, and put it right inside that gusset. Right? So then, the next one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to try to mimic the angle. So you just come to the bottom. Just do the best you can. so that's what mine looks like. They're pretty close. That's impressive. Pretty close. Okay, and then next I'm just going to come to the top, and just like you would miter any other tab, I'm just going to miter the top because I don't want it to risk it sticking out. So again, I'm going to start, so this is gusset 1, 2, and 3. Do whatever order you want. I am going to use wet glue on mine. Again, I want the flat side in the front to be page 1. What is happening? Oh, good gravy. Did I glue it shut? All right. And just slide. It's a little fiddly at first until you get used to it. I hadn't done it for years, but it's like riding a bike. Okay. Clean off any glue that went rogue. And fold it over. Give it a good brush. Okay. There we go. So now we have a gusset over here, and we have a pocket at the top. So we're going to do the same thing to number 2. Okay, flat side in the front. Line it up with the bottom. Uh-oh. Okay. There we go. Glue this little piece down. There's always one jerk. Okay, and then the last one. Line it up. A little bit of seepage. Okay, and there are our pages. Let's go back and do a little more burnishing. There you go. Alright, so now what we want to do is bring our book back in. This is 7 inches tall. This is only 6. So I want to split the difference, and I want to put a mark. I'm just going to use my pencil. I'm going to put a mark a 1/2 inch up and a 1/2 inch in, leaving a 1/2 inch on either side. I don't know if you can see that there on the screen. Oops. 1/2 inch up, 1/2 inch in. And this is literally just a guide. It's not nothing else. Not too much. Okay, so then we are going to remove the score tape backer. off of those two gussets, and I'm just going to add a little bit of glue so that I can move it around a little bit. And I'm going to turn mine this way so that I can see both of these. And then pray that I got it straight. Because it doesn't always get straight. I'm pretty close. I don't know if you can see the line right there. I'm pretty close. So then I'm just going to take and give a good burnish to the two pieces. See, this one wants to act funny. Okay. So I think it's pretty straight. Oh no, that's pretty crooked. Yeah, it's pretty crooked. Oh well, nothing I can do now. Oh, yes I can. There we go. Okay. Straight, straight, straight. Alright. So now our pages are in our book. So there you go. Oh, one thing I did want to say, I don't feel the need to actually cover this up, this gray part up, with more of this craft cardstock, because I am going to cover it up with pattern paper, and we're going to put two pockets on top, so nobody will ever see that. So that is the cover. Okay, so let's move on to putting our pockets on our front inside cover. So I use two pockets, and I have one piece of cardstock that's 2 inches by 6.5 inches. Then I have a second one that's 3.5 by 6.5. And you're going to put it in your scoreboard with the, oops, I'm sorry, it's 3 inches by 6.5. I could have sworn it was 3.5. Anyway, we're going to score it 1/2 inch on all 3 sides. So 2 short sides, 1 long side. And then our 2 inch by 6.5 inch piece, we're going to score with a 6.5 inch side across the top. We're going to score at 1/2 inch and 6 inches. Or you can do 1/2 inch, turn it 1/2 inch. Okay, so we're going to start with the larger one. I always put the larger one on the bottom. No reason other than that's just what I always do. We are going to go ahead and cut away where the 2 score lines intersect. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, and then we're going to miter those edges. So that's the 3 inch piece. So we're going to, on the 2 inch piece, we're just going to miter the corners of or the edges of the tab. Just so it's not really crazy bulky whenever you fold it. Alright, so here's our larger size, and again, this is 3 inches by 6.5. You can see that. I am just to make the video go much more quickly, I am using score tape on mine. So I like to fold the bottom up first, the bottom of the pocket, and then I like to fold over one corner and the other corner, and that just helps keep it from flapping around when I'm trying to place it. It holds it in place. And then remove the score tape backing, or go ahead and add your wet glue. Now you can put this on the inside pocket or the outside, or the inside front pocket, or make it an inside back pocket. I am just putting this on the front. And so then you want to just make sure to line it up with the bottom of the book. You don't want to go across the bottom of the book. Excuse me. And then stick it down. You also want to make sure that it does not cross over your score line. the edge of your chipboard of your front cover so that your book closes nicely. Okay? And it's not getting caught up on the spine. Okay? So that's pocket number 1. Pocket number 2, you can do a couple different ways. You can just add it right on top of the bottom pocket. You could scooch it up a little bit higher so that you have one longer pocket. We are not going, I did score this, but that was a mistake. It'll get covered up with pattern paper anyway. If you wanted a shorter pocket down here, you could angle this and slide it inside the bottom pocket. I am going to, I think, move this up so that I have a taller pocket. Because one thing that I did notice in this book, I put the pom-pom trim here, and I plan on using pom-pom trim again in this new book. It was too close together. Oops, this was too close together, and I couldn't put bigger tags in there. So, yeah, lesson learned. So I'm just going to score it 1/2 inch. I think I said that. We're going to put it in our scoreboard on the 6.5 inch side. We're going to score it 1/2, turn it around, and score it 1/2 inch again, and fold, and burnish. And I'm probably going to come down, I'll do it up at the top, I'm probably going to come down about 1.5 inches. So that looks to be, again, I'm not measuring. Oh, let's see. Put that right there, and then hope it's not crooked. Okay. So you see you have another pocket. I need a piece of paper. Here's a scrap piece of paper. It'll actually come down. So I could fit a 7-inch, this must be 7 inches, a 7-inch piece of paper through there. And what I'll do when I go to put the pattern paper on, I will cut it. So I know this is 2 inches. This looks like about another, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch. So I'll cut a piece of pattern paper that's 3 inches, and then just add it on like that. So the pattern paper will fold down into the bottom pocket. It'll disappear down there, and you'll never know. So yeah, so those are those pockets on the front. For this size paper bag, we are going to need 3 pieces of your cardstock that's 4 7/8 by 5 7/8, because again, this is, it's going to slide in over here, and we're gonna do that severe angle again. It's going to flap from the side. It's going to stick in the gusset. So 4 7/8 by 5 7/8. Our bag is 5 1/8 by 6. So we want to see just a tiny little bit of the whatever pattern paper we decide to put on the paper bag. Okay, so again, cut yourself 3 pieces of your whatever color cardstock you like or that you're using. So we have 4 7/8 is across the top of your book, and you're going to score it 1/2 inch, and you're going to do that to all 3 of them. Now what I did is I used a corner punch. I don't know if you can see that there. I decided to use the Deco stub. This is the We Are Memory Keepers Crocodile, and Deco and stub are the 2 options for your corner chomper. I used Deco. In this book, I just used 1/2 inch rounded corner. Some of the smaller things, I used the 1/4 inch corner rounder. So you're going to go ahead and get yourself 3 of these, just like we did when we put the paper bag onto the hinge. We're going to need to have to angle, do a little bit of a severe angle here so that the tab, or sorry, the flap goes all the way down to the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. See how there's like that extra space there? Now, if you don't want to do, you know, all that work, you can glue it down like that, or you can put your adhesive on the back side of the flap and just adhere it to the top of the paper bag. However you want to do it, I just wanted to be a little extra, and I decided to put it in the gusset. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself a little bit of an angle cut there, and then I'm going to stick it down, line it up, pull up the liner sheet. This never works for me. I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm going to actually just do it this way. Line it up, fold it over. Okay, and there's our flap. So then I still have this hanging open over here. So I am just going to go ahead and fill that flap in with some glue. And fold it down. Give it a minute to stick. There we go. So there's your flap. Okay, so then the next page, so page number 2, has this pocket. We're going to skip that now. We're going to go to page number 3, and we're going to do the same thing. You see that wants to pop up like that. Once we put our closure on, and we put some pattern paper on, it'll start to weigh down. So we have page 1, 2, 3, 4 has a pocket, 5 does not. So we are going to take So for 2, 4, and 6, you're going to want another 3 pieces of your cardstock, same dimensions, 4 7/8 by 5 7/8. With the 5 7/8 across the top, we're going to you're going to score it at 1/2 inch. So 5 7/8, 1/2 inch. Okay, and you're going to do that 3 times. So what I'm doing, again, you could do it this way, same as me, or you can put your adhesive on the back of the flap and just mount it to the top of the bag. But again, I'm going to be a little extra, and I am going to put it on the inside of the bag. So I put my adhesive on the inside of the flap. So let me just show you. When you look inside the flap, okay, so we have these 2 little pieces here that, you know, are the gusset folds. Okay, I'm going to put my flap on this front piece right here. So I'm going to try to do this without making a nightmare. Just take my time. Line it up. Oh, come on. Sure, it's easy. Okay, it's easy to see like this. Okay, and then line it up right with your score line. Don't go over your score line. There you go. Okay, so then what you have here, you still have a pocket where you can slide your top loading. It's a top loading pocket. So slide be matted, whether it's a photo or a cut apart or whatever. So cute, right? All right, so we're going to skip that one. Let's do it again over here. So there, our pages are on. Pretty cool, right? Okay. Just like to. Oh, there we go. So that's what it looks like so far. Okay, so now we are going to make this little box. Oops. This little box that's on the inside back cover. What you want is you want one piece of cardstock that's 6 1/4 by 6 3/4. Okay. On the 6 1/4 inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 of an inch from top to bottom, and then at 1 inch. So you have 2 1/2-inch tabs. Sorry, I have a tickle. So then we're going to rotate to the 6 3/4 inch across the top, and then we're going to do the same thing. Score at 1/2 and then 1, and then rotate one more time back to the 6 1/4 side, and we're going to score at 1/2 and 1. So what we've done is we've created 2 1/2-inch tabs on both sides of the short side, short side, and then same thing on the bottom. Although that looks, I don't know, it just looks wrong. So we're going to put adhesive along the outside tab, okay, and then we are going to find our scissors, and then we are going to cut away. There are 4 little squares right here. When you fold along your score lines, you can see there's 2 squares there, 2 squares there. We are just going to cut those away. So we're going to cut straight up the score line to the second score line, the furthest away score line. We're going to do the same over here. Just cut that right away. Okay. Now let's do the same over here. Cut straight up the score line. Get rid of those so that when you fold on all your score lines, we are going to make a box. And it will try to cover up the glare from the light. See? So then let's just put that together right here. So this is your bottommost flap. I have it folded up, and I'm going to take, right, is that how I'm going to do that? Yes. So I want to take the right side and just connect. It's definitely easier to do if you use score tape. See how it's holding that? So then I want to make sure that everything's nice and square. That the bottom and the sides are square. There we go, and we created our box. So you see we have this side, and then you'll remove the score tape and you'll place it inside the book. I am going to find that piece. I'm just going to put this backer piece right back on here. Otherwise it'll be like stuck to my hair or something until I'm ready to put it back in, put it in my book. So if you've already put down your pattern paper, so I would suggest coming down here, center it here inside your book, and then you could stick it down. And then the next piece is the neglected to quarter chomp mine. Again, I used the deco side. So we are going to want a piece that's cut at 3 1/4 or 2 by 3 1/4. So with the 3 1/4 inch side in your scoreboard. I lost my, uh-oh. Where the heck did it go? Okay, we'll just take this one out. So with a 3 1/4 inch side at the top of your scoreboard, we're just going to score it a 1/2 inch and then at 3/4 inch. No, you know what? That actually needs to be, oops, at a 1/2 inch and 1. We need a 1 inch gusset. Yep, so we want to score at 1/2 and 1 because this side is 1/2 inch. So then you would, wherever you want to place this in your book, you could move it further to the right. You can set it in the middle. I'm going to put mine in the middle. And then you would put your adhesive on that first 1/2 inch there. Set it down. And then you can use seam binding to close it. You can use a magnet. You can, do however you want to do it. As I showed you in mine, mine comes down about a 1/4 inch from the top. So, yeah, and then I just used a chipboard piece from the chipboard collection. Yeah, and that holds it closed. If you didn't want to do that, you could put a waterfall there. There are so many options for what you could do on the inside cover, or you could put 2 more pockets if that's what you want to do. So I'm going to actually show you now how to do those swing tabs that I have. I'm going to move my scoreboard. So I have 6 little teeny tiny, what are these called? Brads. There, see, mine just happened to be flower shaped. Then what I did on mine, it's hard to see it on this one because they're both red, but what I did, I put down the pattern paper. I did not want to fuss with trying to get, the tines of the brad underneath here, and I just couldn't reach it. So what I decided to do was take a shortcut, and I cut some 1 inch circles. So on this one, I used some colored paper, some of the pattern paper. Actually, no, this is the corresponding cardstock. Yeah, you can see that one's red. I just did this one out of some craft. What I did was just take, so I don't know if you can see, yeah, see the embossed lines on that? I considered that the top, and I just stuck the brad through, and then just stick that through the circle, and then I have this little tool. I think it's a We Are Memory Keepers. Super old. Don't know what it's called. I think it's a brad tool. It has a pokey thing on one end, and it has this thing on the other, which is fantastic because you can, watch, won't want to do it. It like separates the brad for you, so you can line it up wherever you want it. You insert it, and voila. So then you have your little tab. So then what I did was put some wet glue around here, and then just stuck it down. Like for instance, I would stick it probably right around here. I actually might use maybe a 3/4 inch punch. I don't know. But see how it would, you'll stick it down. And then it holds your little flap down. And then same thing on the top loading flaps. Yeah, I will definitely have to use a smaller flap, a smaller circle. This is just a little too big. But yeah, so that is the, oh, I'm sorry. I moved my camera, now I can't find it. So that is that. So yeah, and I would definitely recommend that you put down your pattern paper first and then stick this down. The paper collection I'm going to use for this one is the Snowman and Friends from Country Craft Creations. So I thought this was cute to have the little flower. I really wish I had like a heart or a snowflake would be really cute. So that's close to a snowflake. So yeah, stay tuned. I am going to go through and I am going to cut all my mats, and then I'm going to mat all the pages, and I will be back shortly. I have to design a cover. I'll be back shortly to show you the finished project. Thanks so much for watching. As always, if you have any questions at all, please reach out to me. I am happy to help, whether it's on social media or the Scrapbookers page, you know, anywhere, Instagram, wherever you can find me. Now this is the final mini album. This is the album that I just put together in the tutorial. It is done the exact same way as the original album. I just used a different paper collection. So the original was The Magic of Christmas from Echo Park. This one is called Snowman and Friends. This is the paper collection exclusive to Country Craft Creations, and that's the only place you can get it. It is adorable. Anyway, so, but you can see that. So this one is very, I don't know, it has, what is her name? Mary Englebright vibes, I think, if that's her name. I don't know, but I absolutely love this. Love the snowman. It's not only is it, you know, a little bit Christmas theme, but it's also clearly winter and snow. You could use it for the entire season. So I actually chose this page. I love it. It's beautiful. It looks a little washed out on my screen, but the green in person is very vibrant, very, very rich, different colors of green. You can see the berries here. I think these are berries. Yeah, I think they're berries. I use glossy accents, if you can see there. See how it kind of shimmers? Absolutely love it. Put some glossy accents on the holly berries and on his button, Snowman's button on his vest, and on the heart. It's just gorgeous. So this is a little piece of the cut aparts. It's on the cut apart page. It's a border strip. I just fussy cut out the word believe, and I added a couple of charms. I have some mittens. I don't know if it's going to be hard to see. A snowman and a Christmas tree. And then I had this baker's twine that's red, white, and green. Perfect. So then I did some pom-pom trim on both the front and the back. Just reminded me of snowballs. So it's getting stuck on, they're getting stuck on each other, but I did not do any beads on the spine on this one because I don't think I need it. Look at these snowmen. Absolutely love it. And then that's the back. So this is, again, this is done the exact same way as the original album. This is the one that I put together in the tutorial. Now, this paper collection doesn't have, you know, a sticker sheet, but it does have cut aparts. They are pre-cut, which was nice. I didn't have to fussy cut them or put them through my scan and cut. But I did use them to make, you know, some photo mats. You can just stick a photo underneath there. So there's this pocket. I made the pocket a little bit deeper than the original. I made a little booklet. It says Merry Christmas. And that slides right inside there. So here's the, look at these two snowmen. They are just awesome. Love it, skinny little legs. So that opens up. Again, this is made from brown paper lunch bags. And this is one of the 4x6. It says, an act of true love can thaw a frozen heart. So again, here is my little swing tab or slider tabs. This from the border strip that I showed you earlier that says believe, that's this piece right here. Love it. So I left the backs of these ones blank for journaling. You could actually put pattern paper there if you want. So this is the bottom of the pocket, so it makes the bottom of the bag, so it makes a pocket. This one says, in the meadow we can build a snowman, believe in the magic, and hello snow. And I just kind of tuck that in there, slide the tab back. Oh, the glare is crazy. This is the same paper that's on the back cover. Love that little tree with the star. There's those snowmen again. Love those. And then I just put one of these little tags. Sorry, I put it there. You could slide a photo behind there or some cut aparts. And then this one has a snowman reaching for a star. Isn't he awesome? He has stars in his bag. Love it. Then these snowmen here, these chubby little snowmen. Love them. So again, another pocket. Some more snowmen. Happiness is building a snowman. Okay, just tuck those right inside there. And then that's cute. So again, that's open so you could slide a photo under there. This paper collection is so gorgeous. It really doesn't need, you know, stickers and things like that, because you put a photo on there, done. Look how beautiful that is. So anyway, so this over here is one of the tags, and these snowmen are on the back of this piece of paper. So this is the B side, and it's beautiful on its own. This is the B side of this page. Here is the tag. It says, chillin' with my snowmies. And then, oh, I love this one. They're little stick figures. They're hysterical. And so here's a few. Here's one of the 3x4 cut aparts. And this says, 'tis the season to sparkle. And then, whoopsie, whoopsie. Love his little nose. Look as his nose points up. Oh, you can put it in like that. Oh, forgot this one. Okay. And then last is the extra little pocket that I put back here. On this one, I used Velcro instead of a magnet. And then I just put in a couple of extra photo mats, a smaller photo booklet. There should also be, these are the leftover tags. Let it snow. There's a snowman, little wooden snowman, and those 3 snowmen again. So what I did is I just took a paper clip. I have one of these paper clips that has this little connector on it, and you can turn anything into a paper clip. So I just put that in there like that. These store right here. You could store extra photos in there. There's one of the border strips. I used the rest of it. These are the border strips that I mentioned earlier. I just cut out that one piece. And I put this in here. And then there's the back. Again, we can just drop these right back in The bag becomes an automatic pocket. They aren't in any particular order. So yeah, so there's the books. So thank you very much. If you've hung with me for this long, there we go. Thank you very much, and happy holidays to you. And I will be back with my next project. Thanks, everybody. Bye.